pre-recorded ads. Must be league only, those adverts. They haven't paid for cup sponsorship. Welcome to Warrior Park for this quarter-final Lakoseljac Cup contest between the home side Olympia FC Warriors and the visitors travelling down the Midland today, the Riverside Olympic side. As we'll get to pitches soon. We've completed the tight turnaround from KG5 in pretty good manner here. Quick scoot over the river to the sunny eastern shore as both sides line up here this evening. We'll quickly go through the team sheets. We'll go through Olympia first. I'll just call them out rather than we'll get them up on the screen for you. We've got Jacob Vandermeer, Cole McDonald, Paul Stevens, Bay Kurtz, Ryan the Chef Cook getting his first start for the year, I believe. Nick Mearns, Joffrey and Koso, Jake Thompson, Jacob Lehman, and then the two Englishmen rounding out their first 11, Jack Ryan and Jordan Scott, fresh off his exceptionally impressive goal against South Hobart. Would barely make the top 5 most dramatic moments of the week in football, and any other week it would be a shoe-in. We'll go through the Riverside Olympic team pretty quickly. We'll just run them through as they are on the team sheet. You've got Aaron Super Campbell, a very familiar face to Slice of Cheese viewers down the years, the former Launceston City player. But Sam Davis, Liam Gilmore, their keeper Jared Hill, was really impressive at the start of the season. To come back from injury and was a big in last week in their win over Clarence. Will Humphrey, the real Slice of Cheese favourite, Michael Montecchio, Tiki in the starting lineup. That is what we like to see. Jonathan O'Neill, Ethan Olner, Tom Prince, Matt Spanos, Luca Vigilante. Rounding out their starting 11. On the bench for them, they've got William Coert, Connor Hannis, Reece Kinslow, Reef Murphy, the backup keeper, and Riley Wakeford. The captains come out for the coin toss. In the middle, it seems like we've got a code by the looks of it. Former mullet of infallibility. George Mamarcus there on the public address system as always, striding out in the middle of the park, and it'll be a good contest here this afternoon. The results have primarily gone the way of the favourites. University getting up 5-0 over Somerset up north, which is the most recent Lakoseljac Cup game that's just finished. Some would consider that a cup set, with Somerset having home ground advantage. University, the team I am riding for this Lakoseljac Cup. Great to see the Southern Championship team in the semi-finals. Tipped them against Launceston City the other week. Tipped them today at Somerset. They are the real cup set story, but can Riverside do it as Andrew Cooling has popped on the headset?
Joining you again, April, and we'll see if the Roos have drawn inspiration from the myriad of cup sets and comebacks we've seen in world football this week. But University, a huge win over Somerset. They storm into the semi-finals, so they're in there. So to a South Hobart, will it be Olympia or Riverside joining them? It's the Warriors looking to make some early inroads before that one gets cleared away out of there. There's a few different faces out there today. Of course, Lucas Hill suspended for this one. Nick Mearns gets on the ball. A 5-0 win in the corresponding matchup in the MPL Tasmania. Thompson trying to keep this one in, just bobbled on him a little. Slightly steep, real 1990s Perth pitch type bounce there, just the steep rise. Just got him by surprise a bit there. Thompson, a famous name from WA pitches.
It's also a very old-looking ball. It's looking like a real 80th over type operation, or 70th over operation out there. It's a bit dirty. It certainly hasn't had the polish put on it by any of the teams in the warm-ups.
Don't know if they've worked on one side and just trying to get to swing a certain way or not, as Gilmore's worked off that one by Ryan. Steffing him was Lehman, and really impressed by young Gilmore throughout this season. One of the young players in this Riverside lineup, doing a big job in midfield. Certainly an important mover despite his relative youth, and has given a good account of himself. still got some growing to do, definitely physically, but looks a fine prospect, as does Jared Hill in the Roos goal. Two real gun youngsters they've got in their list. As McDonald will go long towards Jack Ryan. Get used to that today. It might fall for Nkoso, but the captain Ethan Olner, another one who's had a pretty good season, steers that away. And he's a no-nonsense customer, Olner, but I think John O'Neill with the height will probably be the one tasked going, I guess, stride for stride with Ryan, who we know Olympia are going to look to pump it pretty long to his head fairly frequently.
Yeah, we certainly do, and if he decides to drift out wide, he's got Tiki as well to battle with the challenges there. That's going to be a great sight, those two going up against each other as Scott exchanges passes with Thompson. Will be back out to Vandermeer. And that one's just about got enough sauce on it. McDonald goes the low clearance, only as far as Vigilante, who hits a very heavy touch, unfortunately. And eventually McDonald won't pay for that slight miscued clearance. Good to see Ryan Cook back in the starting lineup. The chef seems to be starting in a central striking role at the moment, although I reckon that front three of Olympia is going to be pretty fluid throughout this game. As it's down the line to Ryan, wants to find Cook. A nice touch out to Bay Kurtz, playing as a right midfielder here this afternoon. Back to Thompson. John Scott going the chip through ball through to Ryan. Well cleared by the Roos, but only as far as Vandermeer. Warriors will look to reset. Gilmore manages to stride in and get a touch. It's Spanos looking to play it back to Gilmore, and it's probably going to keep it in just about. In the end, it is rolling out for a goal kick in the blind spots we have here at Warrior Park, although not as many blind spots as we had last time we were commentating from up here.
Yeah, that dirty great sign has thankfully been removed. Certainly the president around these parts was going to ensure that happened, and duly it has gone. The most well thought out placement was Riverside trying to attack, but that one's played in behind Aaron Campbell, one of their really experienced customers, just running across some of today's results in the Lakoseljac Cup. South Hobart and University 5-0 victors booking their spot in the next round. And the women's another 5-0 win. It's been a day of hammerings to a large degree. Kingborough over University, Zebras 5-1 over Ulverston, Olympia 9-0 over Beachside in the early game here. And Northern Rangers, perhaps the underdogs left in that tournament. They beat Taroona 2-0. So probably three of the favourites. Kingborough last year's cup runner-ups, and Rangers will be the underdogs there. So two more places open in the Laka Cup too. The Warriors looking to claim one of them as Mearns just over hits his ball for Kurtz, who made a smart little run in behind there.
Yeah, certainly did. And Northern Rangers, well, maybe that could be some more inspiration for Riverside, a team coming down from Lonnie and managing to snag a victory. Taroona hosting a double-header there today. Whilst no success on the field, I'm sure everyone down at Kelvedon Park would have had a lovely day with the weather we've had here in Hobart. And as you mentioned, it's been some pretty wide score lines as Ryan goes backing in to the defender and manages to win a foul from that. Maybe just the arm over the shoulder from the Roos defender. Scott thought about taking it quickly. In the end, lays it short to Kurtz. Gets it past the rushing Spanos out to Mearns. Paul Stevens into Kurtz. There's a big wall of orange in front of that, but Tiki can't quite completely clear it. Now it's Nkoso with the shot, but it's deflected. And rolls harmlessly into the arms of the very impressive Jared Hill, who's 5 to 6 weeks out in the middle so far, so he'll be looked to getting back to top form. As that one rolls through to McDonald. Riverside looking to really press up and cause some issues for the Warriors, and they have done on that occasion. And 4 players up pressing and caused a loose pass from Kurtz. As we mentioned, Lucas Hill not in the starting lineup. No Jono Ladic either for the Warriors. Well, a couple of changes, but I'm going to say it's still a pretty strong lineup the home side have put out. Some Riverside fans were hoping for a slightly weaker Olympia lineup, and it's surely in the back on Ryan and not called by the referee. It looked pretty blatant from up here as Gilmore can't quite get that one under control. Falls to Mearns. And Lehman. Good hustle from Spanos. One of the ones playing up top with slice of cheese favourite Soupy Campbell.
Yeah, former Launceston City stalwart. Looks like we'll be joining him up top. John O'Neill cutting this one out the back. Swings it down the line. Didn't really give his front man much of a play on that ball. Yeah, a few different faces out there today. Certainly Riverside will be glad to have Luca Vigilante back out in the park after he missed a little bit of time. Scored quite the stunner against Clarence last week, and Riverside perhaps on here with a chance to bend one in, but well cut out by Paul Stevens. Did the defensive work pretty well. Humphrey scored against Launceston City earlier in the season. The one putting the ball in there, he's Mearns. Rolling it down the line for Cook, but Vigilante stepping in and winning it back before Cook. Then showing good strength that wins it in turn. Vigilante buttering up here is the Batman. And that was fairly late and fairly easy decision there for Nathan Code.
I think he'd already given the foul before Vigilante dove in there on Jacob Lehman. And a couple of fouls there, Vigilante, but he's back in his more preferred defensive midfield role. He really is that sort of deeper lying player. I think does have a tendency to bomb on as well, but I think that is his best position as Montecio. Well, he's a bobbling ball back to Hill. He's going to get a touch on that. Hill puts it out of play. Probably used to a slightly wider pitch there. That probably would have gone to the right back normally. There's a couple of coaches there on the sideline watching with interest. Craig, Lino Scully and Craig West watching action. Good bit of scouting there from Lino as that ball's flicked on harmlessly. No one anticipating the flick on header. Jack Ryan giving that look of where was the runner in behind. And that one falls out to Tiki. It's a bit slow and Mearns manages to intercept. Mearns, heavy touch. Intercepted by Gilmore. Gilmore only as far as Scott. And what can Cook size up? It's awkwardly thied away from O'Neill and then eventually whacked high in the sky. Thompson looks to keep it in play. And here comes that press from Riverside, forcing Vandermeer just to whack it down the line. Flick over the top. Campbell trying to give the return ball, but well intercepted by Scott.
Here's Nkoso, caused the Roos so many troubles last time around, and he's cutting through them here. Outside of the boot looking for Jack Ryan, headed down by Vigilante, and then bent up in the Campbell direction. Stevens works it out to Lehman. Lehman turns past Gilmore and then down the line for Cook. Olner stride for stride with him. Should see this one out, the Roos skipper. Well, he didn't, but the ball stayed in, and then he's given away the foul there, Ethan Olner. In the far corner, he protests the point. Happy with the decision, but was practically a corner opportunity here now for Scott to perhaps send one in. Right on the byline, the foul. And Scott has been a real threat from the set pieces this season. I wonder if Riverside have been paying attention. We'll see if they do the dummy and they roll out that manoeuvre. It looks like Riverside are quite aware they've got a man in that space. As Scott goes low to the near post and Koso controlling, lays it back, and then off target in the end. Firing wide was Stevens and just couldn't quite get the shot in that space. As Scott goes low to the near post and Koso
strike there from Stevens, just leaning back on that one a tad. But yes, Soupy Campbell clearly tuning in to the live stream last week, just positioned himself about exactly where Jordan Scott scored from at, last week at Darcy Street. Good homework done there from the Roos. Throw in only as far as Vandermeer. And Koso just manages to control that one. Tried to give the return ball to Kurtz, and Koso was still on the ground, and then eventually whacked clear in the end from Vigilante. Really close onto the sideline there. Thompson manages to find some space. Coming back is Humphrey, and shortly fouled there by Nkosa. Will Humphrey, another player with NPL experience up his sleeve, joining the new NPL side for this year, Riverside. That one's going to elude the head of Spanos. McDonald comfortably out to collect. And after the first 12 minutes, it's probably been as expected. Olympia dominating the lion's share of possession. As Montecio tries to get around Mearns. To no avail. Gilmore battling away in there. Scott. That's a Lehman. Lehman punches a good ball down the sideline. Will that stay in play? And does. Cook looks towards the back post. Kurtz is lurking. Scott bursting for a central run. Ryan with the touch. He might have been better off being a bit more selfish there, Jack Ryan. He had a good pocket of space there.
Didn't really get full value as Gilmore works it forward, and a handball blown there against Spanos. Mearns thought about taking it quickly. He had Lehman just bursting into space on the wing. He's still got the entire wing for himself, and Scott says, all right, have it. Sends it out that way. Lehman rolls the foot over the ball, then looks to skip past three. Can he track this one down? Not before the coverage arrives, and Prince, I think, is the man smashing that one away. Tom Prince there, so Nkosa in a little bit of room here, and he swings one in. He'll comfortably out to collect that one, and releases to Spanos. Turns towards the sideline, then lofted forward. No one really there. Campbell gives a good earnest chase, but McDonald had the situation under control. Flicked on by Cook. Ryan using his strength to shield the ball, and then threads it through for Kurtz. Kurtz puts it into Nkosa, who's put it wide. Well, I think he just left his foot hanging there, thinking all he needed to do was direct it home, and he's got that horribly wrong, uncharacteristically so there. You don't see Nkosa squander scoring chances like that very often, but that one, on your XGs, that'd be close to a full goal, I reckon, Paul.
Yeah, I reckon the XG meter will be an overdrive there. Nkosa 6 yards out on the right foot. Had a pocket of space. He, I think, was going for the bottom corner and just horribly miscued it. But can he make amends here? King of the Handles dinks one to Lehman. Jack Ryan's at the back post. Cleared by Prince. Now Humphrey. Vigilante tries to get it under control. Spanos will attempt to keep it in, but to no avail. Thompson will get the ball in play. Olympia looking to play with a good tempo here, not taking their time with set pieces and throw-ins and things. Really trying to keep on top of this Riverside defence as Ryan tries to turn Prince and does so. Lays it out to Lehman. Gilmore coming up to press. Stevens knocks that to Scott, who's forced to go back to the keeper. Riverside pretty much keeping the ball where they want them. It could have been the keeper's ball there as well, as now it falls to Mearns. Mearns wants to spray it out wide. Montecio read that one like a book and wants to go on a bursting run. Will Soupy Campbell give him the return pass? Stevens knew what was happening there and prevented that. The American looking to charge forward there.
Yeah, Big Tiki, he had a good game last week against Clarence. That's a sharp turn from Jack Ryan. Can he pick a pass to go with it? He sends it in Nkosa direction. He's got Kurtz crashing the box. Couldn't quite work it to him. Ethan Olner able to shut that one down. Another corner for Olympia. Good move that one, but well defended by the Riverside captain. And you fancy it's going to be a real backs to the walls type showing from Riverside today if they're going to hang in there. They're going to be under a lot of pressure. Probably one of the grounds where parking it can be slightly easier. You're under more direct pressure, but there's less room for the opposition to operate in and trying to draw you out as this one swung to the back post. Olner with a good leap and got his head to it. Kurtz back to Thompson. And Thompson across to Lehman. Lehman swings it wide again for Joffrey Nkosa. Showed far too much of it to Liam Gilmore. And now Campbell just down the line. Couldn't find Spanos. And they go through back again to Kyle McDonald. And Thompson. Lights on here and taking over midway through this half. Starting to get a little bit darker here is Kurtz. Back to Thompson. Now a very, very deep Jack Ryan. Swings it to Lehman. And the referee spotting the free kick there. So interesting. It's, Ryan dropping so deep to try and get involved in the play here, and he does again. Received from Mearns, dropped it back for Scott. Scott hooks that one out wide. It was an intelligent ball to Thompson in space, but a free kick blown there after got rid of the ball. Challenge flew in.
Yeah, Ryan's certainly had plenty of pressure. Every time he's come forward to present and claim the ball, there's always been someone on him. And sometimes just a bit too over-eager, the Riverside defence. And Scott, a lot of different options to aim for here. What about the back post run, but cleared by Prince. He's got plenty of height on that one. It's come down with snow on it, and he'll have another go. Scott tries to dink it over to Vandermeer, who's stayed forward, the centre back. He'll get a chance to run down the sideline, but Prince manages to knock that one into touch. He'll eventually trot back. Will Vandermeer offers for the throw in. Thompson elects to ignore it and goes into the box. Ryan goes to a little fancy flick, and tell you what, wasn't far away from capitalising on that one there. Good intelligent flick from the striker. He'll want to take the goal kick. Moves it out wide towards Spanos, who's switched sides already here in the first half, as Super Campbell was probably 2 to 3 yards offside.
Fairly blatant, that one.
Tell you what, we've had some pretty easy offside calls to make here from the commentary box in the games we've done today.
Yeah, not been too many of those tight calls, but that's when the mark of a proper actual linesman comes into it, and not the likes of us, Paul. And you need to adjudicate the close ones. As Vigilante works it to Campbell. Thompson just bumps into him, and just earning the ire of the referee in doing so. Another free kick blown. A few of these fouls happening early on.
I was just looking over your shoulder to see what the foul count was. What's that, about 8 in 20 minutes?
Well, 8 that I've noticed, so it could be about 15 in truth. That's one I tend to miss occasionally, as this one swings over the top. Spanos won't get on the end of that one. Carl McDonald collecting. You see plenty of that, but look, I'm liking the way Riverside are setting up here at the moment. They're getting back pretty compact in defence when Olympia have the ball, and they're looking to hit them on the counter. And certainly going to be their best bet, just to pick their moments, but certainly defensively, I know they need to tighten up, and then they press in on McDonald there. If they won the ball back, Vigilante and Davis get involved. Now Prince. Chest of Campbell, worked it to Spanos. Spanos now looking to take on Lehman. He drives to the byline and worked it back. Didn't really have anyone in there in truth anyway. And McDonald just shuts that one off.
Good intent though from Riverside. Looks like they're just picking their opportunities to press rather than just going the full hog. Maybe they've seen McDonald notice something on film, and tendency of passing, or we did have that slip up for one of South Hobart's goals last week in the league. I'm just noticing whenever he gets the ball, Spanos or Campbell, or indeed both, are shutting him down immediately. As Riverside now try to keep the ball in their attacking half for a while. Prince to Humphrey, battling away with Scott. Going to stay in the field of play. Kurtz striding forward at pace. Trying to keep the ball in there on the far side. Now it falls out to Vandermeer. Vandermeer manages to find Lehman, who's, can't tell you what, sent it back a bit of an average back pass there. Stevens does well. Now in Koso. Back to Scott. Is that going to be a foul on Kurtz? I think so. And we've even got the first slice of cheese coming in. Maybe that's an accumulation. Because 20 minutes in, and we've already seen one of the Vigilante across from defensive mid. You really don't want your defensive mid getting the cheese after 20 minutes.
No, not ideal. I wouldn't mind another look at that first glance. Seemed a tad harsh, so maybe it was an accumulation there for Luca Vigilante. But He's now going to have to walk the tightrope, which makes his role in the team a tougher one to execute. He's a player who likes to, bite at the heels, snap in for challenges, win the ball back. It's tougher on a yellow as Vandermeer works this in, looking for Nkoso. Fell out the back, away by Monticchio. And then Mearns tries a volley. He took a little deflection. No, it's going to be a goal kick for Jared Hill. Not really called into any meaningful action just yet, the young Riverside keeper, but geez, when you think of a keeper who can steal you a game in a cup knockout game, this guy springs to mind. And so often that's the way. It's not always the best team on the day that goes through. Keepers can steal you matches in knockout football, and they've got a keeper more than capable of doing that if the defence can hold firm in front of him.
Yeah, and they've done pretty well so far after the first quarter of this game. Olympia, though, seem pretty happy to keep possession, although Scott loses it on that occasion, and Vandermeer comes out to claim. It's a good ball. Ryan's touch is not the greatest. Good pressure again from Humphrey. Talk of before of really limiting Jordan Scott's ability just to spray passes around would be a key to this matchup, as Nkoso battling away with O'Neill. Now Lehman finds Ryan. Kurtz is an option. Instead, it's a pretty aimless ball into the Roos defence. Haven't quite got that much time there, Humphrey, and Scott tries to play in Mearns. Eventually cleared by Olner. Riverside, not afraid to... They're looking busy, which is what I like to see in a defence, particularly one that's trying to set up pretty compact. You've still got to have the energy to press every player, and they're certainly doing that so far.
Yeah, it's going to be just a matter of how long can they sustain that effort for. There's charging after this one again is Spanos. McDonald's pass straight to Gilmore. Gilmore couldn't find Campbell, but they're picking their moments to apply the press, and some nervy moments at the back here for the Warriors. Not looking overly convincing. Lovely from Campbell, then tries for goal of the year, having spun his defender. Couldn't get it on target, but the snapshot, well, certainly looking lively, Riverside. And Olympia, if they entered this one thinking, 5-0 with a man less than them last time, we'll do this comfortably, I think they're pretty quickly figuring out they're in quite the battle here today, Paul.
I don't mind that effort at all from Soupy Campbell. The turn and shot, rolling the defender, and Nkoso does well to hold that one up. Probably a foul in the back, but they are looking to really press Kyle McDonald in Olympia's goal at all times, as Nkoso now thought about running at the defence, sprays it out to Lehman. There's Gilmore for company. Mearns, he's got space here to hit on the right if he wants. Nick Mearns getting in the way. There's O'Neill, and he whacks it clear. Stevens to Vandermeer. Just about get it safely back to the keeper. And again, if Riverside do get a goal here, you sense it's going to be this really energetic forward press that Spanos, Humphrey and Campbell have been applying. Again, Humphrey breaks up the play. Gets to the return ball, tries to find Spanos. Vandermeer whacks it clear. Prince, unfortunately, splits the two attackers. Now to Cook. And then Olympia just getting a bit drawn into a slightly scrappier affair than you think they'd want to. With Ryan, tries to find Kurtz, and nearly found that one. Davis against Ryan. Ryan manages to win and does get the corner. Thought that was going to spin right in towards Hill's arms there, but clearly fell out of play as we're a bit far away to check on the line decisions here.
I think we'll back the AR on that one. It's Jordan Scott giving his signal. I don't know what that means, but the ball above the head, so we'll see what that's code for. He's ready to pin this one in. He goes near post, let run by Stevens. Kurtz couldn't connect with the strike. Well, the move, rehearsed set piece, pulled off very nicely, but the shot not there at the end. And now the counter attack. McDonald will beat Spanos to it. Thought we were about to get a touch there. Is that one flying up the other direction? But look, they're looking compact. They're looking organised here at Riverside, and they're pouncing on the counter attack. I think they've learnt the lessons from the last time they came down here, and Alex Scatani has come up with a game plan that's so far looking a pretty effective one. You'd expect Olympia to dominate possession, to have more of the ball, but It's been a reasonable start to this one from the Roos, and well, we'll just see if they can sustain it. Long throw in over a couple of heads. Is it going to fall? Thompson got a foot in there, and then Scott to Ryan. Can Olympia count? It's a wrestling match. He's trying to just get a souvenir shirt. Although, gee, a slice of cheese for John O'Neill. A tad harsh for mine. I don't know what you think, Paul.
I'm with you there, as you could tell by my instant reaction. It's a foul well up the field. There's nothing hugely to it. Straight to the pocket, though. I mean, if the referee's confident, he's set the stall out as what's going to be a foul. We've commented they're already in double figures after 25 minutes. And again, will that come back to by Riverside at some stage? Because so far, whilst we've had some pretty enthralling games of football around the world in the last week, I am enjoying seeing some semblance of defensive organisation. It is really appealing into the defender in me, who was offside anyway. Well, Soupy Campbell on that occasion was trying to arc his run in every way possible. But I'm not minding seeing the manager lay out a tactical plan, and as you've mentioned, it does work on this Warrior Park. Narrowness a bit more than other grounds, as Kurtz will try and beat it. Ryan goes the 1-2, but puts a bit too much sauce on that. And that'll roll out pretty harmlessly for a goal kick.
They look more up for it to me, Riverside. I think Olympia, they go too overboard, but they maybe just came here thinking that as the better, stronger side on paper, it might just happen for them. But I think that's the exact mentality Barcelona rocked up to Anfield midweek, and very quickly learned that you need to show your opponents respect, and you've got to be sharp. They can't be just switching off. As Campbell trying to get in behind, but I think they're quite on that level. But I think they've just been perhaps making a little nice surprise here early on Olympia. They're not quite flying about the way Riverside are. And, the last in the role of big-time underdogs here.
But just there is exactly what Riverside are doing. Whenever McDonald gets the ball, they're putting someone to the left of him and to the right of him, so he can't get it out to the fullbacks. And then Humphreys doing a really good job on Scott, and it's just cutting out their outlets, and they really can't get forward. At the moment, the Warriors, a team of this quality, you'd expect them to have a few chances eventually, but they're doing a really good job here for the moment, the Roos.
There's Cook. Works it to Nkoso. He's a man who can break a defence open, and he draws a crowd here. Does he get brought down? Right, Monticchio, he did indeed, and a free kick in a very good position here for Jordan Scott. Chance for him to go to work. Maybe test Jared Hill for what would be the first time in this game. Need to get a real meaningful shot on target here, so we'll see if they opt to cross, or whether Scott might think about trying to swing this one in top corner. He goes low, straight in the wall. Follow up hit is fizzed over the bar from Scott. The second strike was a lot better than the first one, but same result. This one flying over the top and not on target.
Did well not to completely sky, but it's always difficult to keep that one down with the top spin on it. It's not too far away there from Jordan Scott. For mine, still, we've been the player of the season, particularly in the NPL Taz so far. As O'Neill was pressured by Ryan, turned away, and now Jack Ryan has pocket of space down on the right-hand side. Prince comes across. It's a good ball. Hill slipped, and I think he had to come across and clear that one. Humphrey has a good ball out to Spanos, who has Lehman for company. Now has Scott as well. Sends Campbell a task on this near side, and he manages to keep it in. Does Soupy Campbell. 5 striding forward for Riverside. They've got the overlap here. Gilmore, what can he do? Cuts it back. He's taken it away from his teammate. Campbell shoots. Spanos, Vandermeer, and Scott eventually clears it. I couldn't see who got the touch on that. But Spanos had a glorious chance there. Riverside almost had too many players forward.
Well, they are attacking in great number. They're up for this one. They crashed the box and couldn't quite find a way. Olympia's defence did a good job in the end, closing the door on it, but Riverside having their moments here, and we've got a really intriguing game developing. The Warriors very heavy favourites coming into it, but The plucky underdog putting up a pretty good fight thus far. Here's Nkosa. Back to Kurtz. Lehman. Chipped into the box looking for Ryan. Away by John O'Neill. One of a pair of players are going to have to walk that disciplinary tightrope as the game wears on. And really two of the players that least like to be on bookings early on, given the roles, as Cook slides it through. Couldn't find Ryan. O'Neill broke that up. Worked it to young Gilmore. Out to Montecio. And he goes long. There's no one at home there but McDonald. And he's able to swing this one out in front of Thompson. Thompson down the line and broken up by Prince. If you're keen to keep it moving, Vandermeer back to Thompson. And it's almost as if Riverside just disregarding the midfield at times. Look at the bank of five up top, furiously pressing away and then collapsing back. The couple in midfield collapse back to help the defence, and the other two kind of jump in the forward press, and not a lot in between. As Nkoso goes there, and if there's any ground where you could go with that sort of a strategy, probably this one where the midfield's about 10 metres long.
Yeah, it certainly is, and yeah, it's like in attack they've got like a 5-0-5, and then in defence it's like an 8-0-2. Was a stumbling effort there. Humphrey trying to jink his way out of trouble. Thought about finding Gilmore, but got a bit too much on that. And Riverside really up for this one. As Olympia still having the lion's share of possessions, and Koso goes towards the back post. Ryan lays it off, but no one anticipating the layoff. Now Cook wanted Thompson to bomb on down the line. Shank clearance now lays in Thompson. Over the back of everyone. Couldn't quite fall to Kurtz. Campbell with time to turn. Lays a lovely ball out to Spanos. Heavy touch. Scott comes across. Still going. Montecio striding forward. Good touch from the big man, and he'll manage to win the throw-in. Off Lehman. Riverside to be wise just to take their time here and maybe catch their breath a tad. Montecio using that opportunity to do some leg stretches. Don't mind that at all. Keep the body limber as that one goes down the line to Soupy Campbell. Tried the back heel, but to no avail, and Lehman clears in front of Ryan. Rinse for company. It goes up over the top. O'Neill. There's Nkoso pressing in front of him. I assume he's won a throw-in off Nkoso, and has. 34 minutes gone. Both sides with one or two half chances, but I wouldn't say any gilt-edged chances so far.
No, I don't think there's been a shot on target yet, has it? Don't think so.
I can't think of one.
Well, not to my mind. So a few dangerous balls played into the area, but the less chances in the game. I think the more that suits Riverside. They'd love a game of very few chances. Real defensive grind. And Olympia, well, they've just got to stick patient. They've got the firepower. They've got the quality out there. They've put 5 past this team before. Just need to hang in there and not get frustrated, because that's where we see so many of these cup sets going to come from. The self-fulfilling prophecy of the big team not perhaps building a lead as early as they would have thought. They get a little bit on edge as the game wears on, and that's when it really opens up the opportunity for the Riverside. They've had a couple of dangerous balls into the area, but it's not like they're creating chance after chance themselves. They're just hanging in there. But the longer it stays at 0-0, the more the doubts start to creep in, as Jack Ryan can make it 1-0 here. That's a clever little dummy, and it is 1-0. Pouncing on it is Kurtz. He smashes it home, and Olympia have taken the lead. So Riverside's resistance lasts just 35 minutes before the goal, and it's 1-0 to Olympia.
Warrior Park breathes a collective sigh of relief as the air horn goes off. Lovely back heel from Ryan. Kurtz coming in, anticipating his big number 9 was going to put it on a platter, and stroked that one home. And Kurtz has come back from his injury. He's out for a couple of weeks, and he's looking stronger and stronger. He's played left back, he's played centre mid, and today playing sort of a right central midfielder, has strode forward and given Olympia the lead. There, certainly, if you're going on possession, they've certainly earned. Now Riverside, interesting to see how they play it from here. Will they immediately push on as in Koso? It's O'Neill under pressure. So does Mearns. I think they'll eventually whack it out of play, and they do. Campbell's going to compete with Stevens. Vandermeer gets good purchase on it. Gilmore. Montecio. Mearns got in ahead of Vigilante, but to no avail. Gilmore sets it to Humphrey. Kurt sliding in, finds Nkoso. There's now Stevens on the ball. Warriors will be relieved to get that first goal on the board. You'd think they could probably play the game a bit more on their terms from now on. McDonald wants to find Lehman. Only manages to find Gilmore, who then manages to find the touchline.
Kurtz had a pretty good game last week at Darcy Street, and he finds himself on the score sheet despite playing a different position here, playing on the right wing this week, but shown himself to be a pretty versatile player. So far as Kurtz, as Montecio works this one back to Walner. Long doesn't really give Spanos much of a chance. Vandermeer able to step in, and there is the goal scorer. Kurtz across to Lehman. Lehman just ran out of room there on the touchline and runs it out of play. Montecio wants to take this one quickly because he spied Campbell one-on-one up against Stevens. He heads there. Stevens with a little bit of support and able to steer it away. Montecio swings it to the back post. Only McDonald back there for the Warriors. And short to Vandermeer. Had his options cut off, and again Riverside doing a really good job just pressuring the Warriors, trying to play out from the back here. They've worked their way through it though, through Lehman. Lehman found Mearns. Mearns with the direct option for Ryan. Oh, the touch took it right into his path, and Jack Ryan is going to make them pay. In the blink of an eye, Olympia have opened up a 2-goal lead. And Prince's touch just cushioned it perfectly for the Englishman in the end.
Let's almost credit the Riverside defender with an assist there. The long ball over the top. Prince putting that into the path of Ryan. We saw him have 2 chipped opportunities last week at Darcy Street, hitting the keeper. This time gets enough air underneath it to put it up and over hill. And at 2-0, it must be a feeling of deja vu here for the Riverside players. 2-0. Hold on really well for that first half hour, but just a couple of mistakes or even half mistakes have just let the Warriors in. Jack Ryan, after laying on an assist, now lays on a goal. Montecio wouldn't mind some help there on the near side, and eventually hits it into a very well rugged up Olympia head coaching staff there, as that's another good ball to Ryan. Thought about the back heel to Nkoso, but kept the ball in front of him. Ryan lays it to the top of the box. Cook tries to shape onto the left. Onside is Mearns, and he'll eventually win another corner. And it's going to be a real uphill battle for Riverside to come back from this one.
Yeah, it does make it really tough. Right before they scored the first goal, I was saying that, look, the longer they can keep it at 0-0, the doubt will creep in. Well, now that's not at play. Now Riverside have to chase the game. Olympia can just knock the ball about, take their time. They're in complete control of this tie as Scott to Cook. Slightly under-hit the ball, although that wasn't particularly well cleared. It'll give Cook another play on it. Headed it back into a dangerous area. Mearns trying to control it on the volley. Worked it to Cook. And that deflects behind for another Warriors corner. Really, since that first goal has gone in, things are starting to flow and click in attack. And the Warriors have got a sniff of it now. And I think they're trying to settle this one before half-time. If they could find a third, it would go a long way to doing just that. Jordan Scott to the back post this time. Vandermeer well away by O'Neill. Kurtz lashes this one, and Ryan couldn't quite get on the end of it. I thought he was just going to redirect that one home in the end, but couldn't get a touch, the Englishman.
Yeah, he's giving the thumbs up to his teammate there, and no surprise, just caught possibly slightly on his heels. Yeah, the big Englishman already got a goal and an assist to his name as we have a look at the replay. Kurtz, and yeah, not too far away. Here's Ryan, maybe slightly hindered with a few players standing in front as Hill. Burns towering over a couple of bodies. Lehman, that's come off the laces and it's gone right in the air. Gilmore battling well with Scott. Now Humphrey, Mearns sliding in. That's what we haven't seen from his game for a couple of years. That tenacity and that confidence to really dive into the challenge. Now contemplating a bit of grass carpet burn there from that challenge, but that's just what we've liked seeing so far this year from Nick Burns.
Yeah, good to see him back out there, of course. Picked up a knock last week against South Hobart and he's clearly recovered all right, but just trusting his body against probably as big a battle as anything Nick Burns has got to go through. He does get on the ball. He's a fantastic player, so a chance for Riverside to strike back here. Swung in over the head of Vigilante. And that man unable to rise to that one. Away goes Jordan Scott. And that's a very acrobatic kind of effort from Ola. Whisked it away from Nkoso, who nearly wins it back off of Davis. He says can't quite get on the end of it. Spanos eluding him, and Thompson will take it quickly. Mearns operating in tight areas and just running out of room there on the near touchline. Bit of a shake of the head there from Nick Mearns. As this one's thrown in, drawing a crowd is Spanos. Had 3 on him instantly, and in the end it's going to be a Warriors ball.
You don't really have too much room to turn down the line on that part of Warrior Park. It's Spanos on that occasion, coming across Vigilante, knocking that one into the training net nicely in the top corner. An accurate clearance. There's only a couple of more minutes left in this half. Ryan gets the header, and Koso working on the other side of the ground to where we've predominantly seen him. Riverside defenders playing a bit of game of leave it. Now Humphrey. Tracking back is Kurtz. Thompson keeps it on the deck. Eventually whacked clear for Soupy Campbell to chase after. He's got ahead of Vandermeer and does win the throw-in. He knocked it inside and off the thigh of Vandermeer. As Riverside gain some territory, can they get one back before the half? Give themselves a whiff of a chance of the cup set. Turning inside, and Vandermeer got the shout to clear that one. Olnut takes it out of the sky well. Montekio wants to play it first time, and he's managed to split 2 players. Spanos will press Scott. I think the last touch has come off Scott there, so he's going to concede the throw-in deep in his own half. Montekio to take the throw-in.
The bodies forward here in orange. Gilmore presenting short. I think the long throw probably the order of the day. He goes towards Vigilante, flicked on. Back towards the Argentine. Will it sit for Spanos? Able to get away with Stevens. As he volleyed that one. Lehman clears the area. Ryan beaten to the ball by Olno, who lost control of it. And there might be some danger back the other way here. Scott just stands it up for Nkoso. Just tried to use his body to shield it, and he's worked that beautifully to Kurtz. Back to Nkoso. Couldn't find Mearns, who'd made her under the penalty spot. Good stop there, Riverside. We conceded a third for sure had that ball gone through to Nick Mearns. As Vandermeer back to McDonald as Stevens has the out on the near touchline. Gilmore continuing his impressive work rate. He's been flying up and down this near touchline all half. Has not stopped running. Mearns silkily turns on it to Vandermeer. Shifts inside, then back out to Thompson. He's got Kurtz in a bit of room to manoeuvre here. So it's Kurtz, and who broke the deadlock. Didn't really do Thompson too many favours there, but he's able to win a throw in from it. So we reach the 45-minute mark. Kurtz been heavily involved. Back to Vandermeer. And then to McDonald. I think Olympia will be quite content to head into the sheds with a 2-goal lead after half an hour. It didn't look overly likely. They've snapped to life, and Jack Ryan has every chance of making it 3 here as he drives. Jack Ryan picked that out. An absolute stunner from the Englishman. Hill flings himself at it, can't get near it. That's the best goal Jack Ryan scored this year. 3-0.
Certainly is. Jack Ryan, just the turn and shot. And it's got the ball from Kurtz, returning the favour, as it turns out, for that first goal. Took one look, saw Hill was a bit centrally positioned. And he's scrambling across, but that has hit the side netting. A wonderful curling shot from the Englishman, Jack Ryan. 2 goals and an assist in the first half of the cup game, if you don't mind. And that is probably going to see Riverside on the back foot for most of the game. And that is half time, not much stoppage time played here. And with that shot, Jack Ryan has put the Olympia Warriors 3-0 up going into half time. We talked up the cup set, and for the first half hour it was progressing as you would imagine one to occur. And in the end, Olympia, who were threatening the NPL title in the league, have just come on strong, constantly pushed, and then a few moments of magic from Jack Ryan's been the difference.
Yeah, they were doing a pretty good job for half an hour, but certainly it's the quality. It was always going to be the challenge, sustaining it for a full 90 minutes. They couldn't quite reach the half. They just let up, and geez, that's a stunning goal from Jack Ryan to end the half. That was a thing of beauty, the way he's absolutely blasted that. A really clever back heel to set up the opener. Jack Ryan, the Englishman, has certainly turned this game. He's grabbed himself 2 goals and an assist. And he's just been too much from the handle, I think.
I certainly agree. Also, Kurtz is building on those good performances that we saw at Darcy Street on Sunday. Just watching the Olympia Warriors substitutes warm up. While we break from that, let's have a look at this Jack Ryan goal. Once again, had a good pocket of space. The power and the curl would have beaten most keepers there. Jack Ryan on for his highlight reel. And with 3-0, he'll be struggling to see a way back from Riverside, but still worth tuning into the second half to see if such a thing can occur.
Is there a Lucas Moore on the bench for Riverside side? They better hope so, because 3-0 down. This one looks to be over. Olympia with 1 foot in the semi-finals. We'll be back in around about 10 minutes' time to see if they can put that second foot in as well.
This is the third game here today, ladies and gentlemen. The other two were also statewide cup games. We kicked off the day with the under-20s South Hobart losing to the Olympia FC Warriors here on penalties. So in the under-20s statewide cup, Olympia FC Warriors defeated South Hobart for a 2-2 draw after 90 minutes. And of course after extra time because the game did go to penalties. In the second game, Olympia FC Warriors hosting Riverside defeated them 9-0. So both our under-20s and our senior ladies are through to the semi-finals of their respective statewide cup. And currently in the Lakoseljac quarter-final, we have Olympia FC Warriors currently leading 3-0 here at half-time. Just a reminder that next week we have a blockbuster with first playing second, with the opportunity for Olympia FC Warriors to in fact go to the top, with Olympia FC Warriors NPL hosting Devonport. That game will be here at Warrior Park, kicking off at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Saturday next week, Olympia FC Warriors hosting Devonport here. For the winner will go to the top of the NPL ladder. A reminder that we do have our canteen open for food and soft drinks, and of course if you're looking for something more alcoholic, you can go up there to Stewie's Bar and enjoy a wine or a beer. Or some spirits, I believe, also on sale. So that's up there in our brand new refurbished drink area up there at Stewie's Bar. would ask all the spectators please to remove themselves off the field as the referees and the players are making their way onto the pitch to resume the second half.
And we're back here for the second half. It would take something pretty special here for Riverside to come back from 3 goals to 0 down on this week of all weeks. We won't dismiss it as a possibility, however, it does loom as particularly unlikely. Olympia really just took control of that game. Jack Ryan with a brace and an assist. A stunning third with the left foot have really got them in a pretty powerful position here, 3-0 up heading into the second half. Riverside haven't really shown themselves a side who are capable of scoring heavily in games this year, so it would be a freakish result from here, Paul. Any chance for the Roos?
Oh, look, as you say, if it was any other week, I'd be instantly dismissive and say not a chance in the world. I'll give them a 0.01% chance, though, given the craziness of football this week. I've just been distracted by Riverside's coach in continual discussions with both the assistant referee and Nathan Code, who's out in the middle. He's still actually not left the pitch yet. And he's taken most of that walkout from half-time to have a very strong discussion on what it might be about some of the yellow cards potentially dished out to his side. That's all I can think of as we are underway here in the second half under a flood-lit Warrior Park in Koso. Ryan with another back heel. And as far as O'Neill. Gilmore, who, as we talked up in the first half, he's got a pretty good engine on him. The youngster certainly needs to fill out a tad, but a nice young prospect Riverside have got in their midst there. It was Humphrey. Exchanges passes on Sikio, and he runs out of real estate in the end.
The Englishman Jordan Scott escorting him out of play there. And I'm just trying to think what Alex Catani's problem with the officials would be. It'd have to be the yellow cards, you'd imagine. Probably can understand why he'd be a little bit perturbed by that. But I don't think there's anything that went to any of the goals. There's Olympia looking to find a fourth here, but it's going to be brought back for a bit of shirt grabbing. Free kick will go the way of the Roos. Luca Vigilante sends it out wide to Gilmore, but he is going to have to wait for that ball to steady on. And Ethan Olner will take over instead to his fullback, Tiki. And here is the Batman. Back off to him, and butchered the pass back to Vigilante Montequio. Gets away with it. Hill, long and direct, over the head of Spanos. Thompson getting in there. Cook now fighting away with Soupy Campbell. And Campbell turning free. Kurt sticking with him though. Prince, Vigilante, and Thompson coughs it back up to the Argentine. Done pretty well to escape the attention of Mearns, but they're going nowhere fast. It sticks in this little part of the ground for now. Jack Ryan tried to play in Scott, charged down Davis's clearance. Now in Koso, threads it through, finds its way to Jack Ryan, who takes the snapshot. And Hill turns it behind for a corner. Perhaps caught unawares there. I wasn't expecting the shot from Ryan, but wins his team a corner. Goes looking for a hat-trick.
Man, Koso, I think, managing to nutmeg O'Neill there, and first time shot from Ryan. There was a little gap there at the near post, but Hill got down well to parry it away. Good power on the clearance, on the save, as Scott will look to take this one short. King of the Handles, Joffrey Koso. Back post goes Scott. Anime was lurking. He might retrieve the second ball. Flicks it around to Kurtz. Ryan, lovely interplay with Kurtz. Heavy touch though, and Hill comes out. Has he conceded the corner? No, he doesn't. It is a goal kick. Pay Kurtz showing very good link up with Jack Ryan here in this game. Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see him stay in a more advanced role for the next few games compared to where he started the season. As Hill whacks that one over the head of Davis. He's trying to jink his way through. Scott eventually repels. Paul Stevens will lay it out to Lehman. Ryan drifting out, and that's going to send him a bit of a task. Olner coming across, whacks that one into the landscaping at Warrior Park.
So Olympia with a 3-goal lead here in the second half. It's looking like it could be a very successful day, as their president was all too keen to remind everyone at half-time. They beat South Hobart in the under-20s earlier on in the day in what's, well, for mine is a bit of a potential final matchup, that one. It's been the final the last couple of years, and the winner was always going to be the new favourite for the tournament. So Olympia, well positioned for that one now, you'd imagine. Beating South Hobart in a penalty shootout. Their women, as expected, had a comfortable win over Beachside to move through to the semis, and now the men looking to do likewise. And Jack Ryan looking to get a hat-trick as he hustles out after this one. The ball just drew him a little bit wider than he would have liked, so he swings in the cross for Nkoso. Olner got up and got a piece of it. Ryan Cook now back to Thompson. Thompson to Cook. Now Scott sends it to the back post. And I'm not really sure what he was going for there, Jordan Scott.
Yeah, I'm not terribly sure either. Maybe just completely overhit it. He's sets himself a pretty high standard. He was not terribly happy with himself after that. Crosses Hill. Well, we'll take this goal kick and we'll see Olympia's Hill not playing here this evening. That one's given away. Kurtz has checked that one off the shin pad as far as Gilmore. Intercepting is Kurtz. Mearns elects to turn and fire it directly into the advertising hoarding and split his two teammates pretty convincingly there, had Nick Mearns. And Tikio. Good distance on that throw, and I don't think anyone was expecting Humphrey to slide in at centre forward and get that one on the first bounce. Kurtz. There's Prince for company. Thompson finds Nkoso. Striding forward is Scott if he wants to go past him. Nkoso looks centrally and he'll getting there. Finally not putting it in the back of the net. Ryan Cook charging in from deep. All fell to him nicely at the back post. Nkoso doing exceptionally well. And he's right there on the spot, Ryan Cook, and just missed it by a fair way in the end.
Yeah, absolutely shanked the shot. Had a pretty good look at the goals, but Cook unable to add to the score there. As Olympia really just seized control of this tie now. Looking to find a fourth goal that all but kill this one off. Probably should have come there from the former South Hobart man. This one worked towards Olner and Nkoso. Out the back, O'Neill. His pass just eluding Prince. And the throw in will be deferred as we have a good look at the rugged up Olympia bench there. We've got the right ideas with the blanket, I think, as Thompson throws it, repelled away by the experienced Jono O'Neill. Here's Jordan Scott. Lofts it across for Lehman. Jacob Lehman gets his head up. He has a look and drives one straight to Vigilante. Now can Riverside counter through the Batman here. He looks up, swings it out wide for an overlapping Montecchio. Couldn't find Campbell. Straight to Jake Vandermeer. And Cook as Vigilante biting at his heels and in to touch it goes. But the Warriors looking pretty comfortable out there at the minute. And I think they're just going to try and see their way through this half. Trying to avoid any injuries or suspensions. Of course, a huge game for them next week. And they'll be back at this venue next Saturday taking on the Devonport Strikers in the top of the table MPL Tas battle there. It'll be a big game with Olympia able to move top with a victory. Of course, Devonport with a big one against the Zebras tomorrow as Mearns rolls his foot over that, plays a little reverse ball to Nkoso. Back to Mearns, who spreads it to Thompson. They're lining up in the middle. He dinks it in the Ryan direction. Courageous header from O'Neill. Body on the line and sees it away. Very nicely done there, John O'Neill.
Great towering header from the centre back there, O'Neill. Ryan, he really wants this hat trick. There's McDonald just about finds Stevens. Did neglect it. Start of the game to mention who the Warriors subs were. Now I think about it, Darby Randall. The backup keeper. We've also got Warren Wadawu, Luke Wilcock, Chris Sakiris, and another name that is so poorly written on the team sheet, I have no idea who it is in terms of a surname. As you can tell by the delay, it's not immediately apparent.
I don't know if that's a name or if someone's just scribbled in the
I mean-
bottom of the team sheet there.
I mean, I know Bilal is a legitimate first name thanks to Flex fantasy footballing star Bilal Powell, but no idea what that surname is.
That's got to be the first time Bilal Powell has got a reference on the live stream. Or an obscure player.
It's the only Bilal I've ever come across in the world, so it's my only reference point. Apologies to whoever that is on the bench, but I'd talk to someone about the handwriting. While we're on that, Riverside, 2 number 15s on the team sheet as well. Which is what our confusion about who on earth number 10 was for about half hour. We get there, though. We get there.
They just went with Davis and Prince off last time they played. I hope they hadn't swapped shirt numbers. Didn't check the team sheet for that one.
Luckily, there's enough height difference between the two that at least they're distinctive enough to get around. As
the play in the far side here.
As we have confirmation from multiplayer Bilal 8 Mama. M-A-M-A-R.
Well, thank you that, Walter. Very nicely done.
I would have had 700 guesses at the team sheet we've got. Wouldn't have a clue who that is.
Wouldn't have read it as that's for sure. There we go. Great Walter Pless chiming in with actual names. And the Riverside boys have found themselves a free kick here in the final third. Can they find something to spark them? A bit of a fire starter here. They've got a free kick opportunity. It's bent in near post. Oh, one of those rash clearances where it could go absolutely anywhere, and behind it goes for a corner. And Riverside, well, if they're going to get themselves back into this one, you fancy they need a goal pretty imminently. They've not created many goal-scoring looks so far this evening. They simply have to find a way through, and this corner's as good a chance as they've had in the second half so far. And it'll be swung to the back post. Prince was there. High boot against Olner, I think. Free kick going the way of the Warriors.
Yeah, he was trying to pull out there, Olner, but it just committed a bit too strongly to the kick already. And that'll relieve there's some pressure on the Warriors' defence as Vandermeer tries to play a raking ball. Mearns, well, he ended up faking the flick on in the end, but still had the desired effect. Kurtz coming across. Now it's Davis. One down the line to Soupy Campbell in front of the Riverside Olympic travelling support. Gets his head up. Goes towards the back post. Lehman clears effectively. Kurtz was looking for Nkosa, but hits that one a bit too far out. As players come to a stop temporarily. I think there's going to be a sub, judging by the way Jacob Lehman is running off the pitch. So Olympia left back put in a good shift, and going to be Warren Wadawu coming on. The postman, we'll see if Kurtz drops into left back and Wadawu goes left wing, or if they choose some other option. It does seem like Kurtz has gone back to left back for the moment. Wadawu seems to be playing centrally. We'll see how that comes out in the wash. Warriors now doing a good job at maintaining possession here in the second half. Throw in down the line. And as we mentioned earlier, they've got a big game against the Strikers, first versus second in the league next week. We'll see if that plays a part in their choice of substitutions here and for this game. So throw in, taken long down the line towards Nkosa. O'Neill coming across. Nkosa shielding the ball well. Dummy pass to Wadawu. Does well to turn away. Ryan wants it at the penalty spot. Wadawu still going in. Warren Wadawu. Tell you what, Hill has done very well there to stick to his near post. He was trying to hit it in the gap there. Was the postman. Nearly sent it into the smallest mailbox hole possible. Hill did very well to stay guarded. And it's still 3-0 to the Warriors as Scott lays a pass out to Ryan. And Hill eventually gets there, just skidding off the surface here at Warrior Park as Ezekiel sends the ball down the line. It's a bit of a challenge for Humphrey, but he does well to keep it in. Turning is Spanos, and they're in with an opportunity here. Davis shank clearance, gets a second opportunity, and he's put it in. Well, Davis, absolutely nothing, one end to the other. Riverside Olympic get a goal back, and we'll see what the Warriors can do from here.
Yeah, Sam Davis bowling up top here, gets a second bite at it. His first shot just deflected, gets a second crack. Keeper, I think, gets a big palm on it, can't keep it out. And Riverside just with a sign of life here as they pull it back to 3-1. Still an absolute mountain to climb for them, but from their first shot on target from the day, they've managed to find themselves a goal. So maybe that'll just put a little bit of doubt in the Warriors' minds. I think more than anything, it might just give a little bit of belief to this Riverside team. Certainly, if they watch Spurs and Ajax, maybe they'll start to think this is doable. I think the first one came at a fairly similar time. As Nkoso rolls it through, Olympia looking to slam the door shut pretty quickly and not allow those seeds of belief to sprout into anything meaningful. This one swung in the Thompson direction, headed it straight to Soupy Campbell. Scott just came from his blind side and picked his pocket. Swings this one out. That's a good looking ball for Nkoso if it'll stay in for him. And the king of the Andals able to chase it down and turn onto his right. Rolling it back to Kurtz, who's shifted back to left back with Lehman's departure. Vandermeer with a raking ball looking for Ryan. Timed his leap well, but he'd come from an offside position to make it. And here's a forlorn look at the linesman, but look, it was fairly obvious he moved in that position to generate the momentum for the jump.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge offside. It did look like he just moved the body a step ahead of the ball being played, and that led him to being offside. But again, he's still searching for that hat-trick goal. Here's Jack Ryan. Might get another opportunity here, but the ball's hit too centrally. And Riverside can build out from the back. Long raking ball towards Montecchio. Well intercepted by Kurtz. And now Nkoso running it Olner. Lays it back to Cook, who can't quite shape the cross well. And now Gilmore. Again intercepting well is Vandermeer. They're just reading the play really well here, the Warriors defenders. Ryan thinks about crossing and does. Goes over the head of Nkoso. Howls for handball. Not given. Dawu up against Humphrey. Humphrey, he won the physical battle but didn't quite get the desired pass. There's Scott, who's dropped very deep here to start with. Heaves one down the middle. And Ryan doesn't quite manage to get on the end of that one. And just falling over his own steam there with Prince in front of us. It's quite dramatic.
This one swung and cut out by Cook, who turns and goes here. Ryan Cook lofting it up towards Joffrey Nkoso. That's a lovely first touch from Nkoso, and he runs at the defence, throws in some step overs, and he can't quite beat Hill to the ball. He came streaming out at that one. Slid in and blocks off the king of the Andals. Good keeping. Two of the best young prospects in the entire competition going head to head there, and then a bang average pass that just sees possession straight back to the Warriors. Wadawu got a little bit of time and space, and he just uses that to pick out Nick Mearns. Cook waited on the ball. That was the wrong idea. Spanos able to pounce and win it back. Threads it through for Campbell. You could see what he's trying to do. Just trying to take a touch into the space in front of him and speed off into it, but couldn't quite execute.
Yeah, good intent there from Soupy Campbell. That goal has certainly given Riverside a bit of a boost here. The Warriors looking very composed in possession for that first 10 minutes of the second half, but they've tended just to be hoofing it a little bit more as the goal scorer Davis knocks it to Humphrey, running at the defence, but elects to spray it out to Montecchio. Time for a touch. Here's Kurtz for company. He met two Americans going at it, but that's a good challenge there from Kurtz. He's trying to turn away and eventually gets it to Scott. Down the line towards Ryan, who wins the header back to the postman. Exchanges passes with Kurtz. He looks up and doesn't have a whole lot of options in front of him, so lays it to Ryan. Once again, just a couple of options short. Now sprayed out to Mearns. Scott, intelligent ball from the run of Thompson. This is better from the Warriors. Just keeping the ball on the deck, and Mearns turning inside. He had free rein there. It's a good through ball. You never know where those clearance goes, but Davis does just enough to concede the corner.
Yeah, vintage Nick Mearns type play that. Just rolls off the defender on the wing, skips inside, then looks to slide through a pass for his strikers. That's the type of stuff that we see Mearns do so routinely. He's just able to break the lines so well. Bring his players in behind as Jordan Scott comes across to take this one. A 3-1 lead in tow. 63 minutes of tick by. Scott goes to the back stick. Hill punches straight back down to Wadawu. No one can turn it home. And in the end, O'Neill has time to gather it and whack it out of there. Hill, well, he's lucky not to pay for that one. Just palmed it right back into the hot spot. And no one could turn it home for the Warriors.
I'll just see a replay of that. I don't know if he was palmed it onto the crossbar or if it's hit the crossbar on the full. He's actually flapped at it. And it's fallen to the feet of Wadawu. Mad scramble. It's just deflected off Vandermeer's foot without him knowing. And no Warriors players at the back post.
Somehow stays out.
Somehow, indeed. Well, kick the ball back to the Warriors, despite the fact I think Riverside are probably going to have possession there. But good sportsmanship obeyed, and we'll see if the Warriors can get a clinching fourth goal. That's well intercepted. It's O'Neill looking to stride forward. His pass only finds Vandermeer, and now he's got to chase back. Kurtz to Nkoso. King of the handles, stuck in a roux sandwich, and it does fall to O'Neill. Gilmore. Haven't seen on the ball as much in the second half as we did the first. Dawu coolly plays it round him. Dawu trying to play it down the line towards Kurtz, sliding in. He's Olner.
Loves a slide challenge, Ethan Olner. He's a very no-nonsense customer. I've noticed from his game, the few times I've watched him this year. This one's worked in towards Jack Ryan again. Cushioned that one down pretty nicely for Ryan Cook. Wants to turn onto the favoured left. Couldn't find Nkoso. Well cut out John O'Neill. Then Monticchio away. Kurtz onto the head of Cook. Off O'Neill. Good body work from Monticchio, but with Dawu kept on soldiering on. Now Nkoso surrounded by orange shirts here. Nkoso still had time to work the ball to Mearns and a free kick. And he lost his balance, and this he's going to have a few people very keen for it, but I reckon Jordan Scott's just going to make a beeline for this thing.
And tell everyone to move out of the way is Jordan Scott.
Warren Wadawu is still on the ball, and Scotty's just walked up behind him going, hang on a second, son.
I'm enjoying
I got this.
Enjoying the arm on the shoulder, the real comforting. Now, look here, mate. You saw what I did last week. Come on. Come on.
I assume he stopped short of, do you know who I am? But Ryan Cook's the other one. I'll tell you what, Cook.
Look at Mearns' dejection as well as being told to get out of the way.
They could raffle it, so maybe it'll be a variation, but certainly Scott might have lost his argument. It might be Ryan Cook to take. He leaves it for Wadawu. It will be Scott, and he drives. And it's charged down by the Riverside defence. So tried to suck him in with the variation, but I think Riverside came to the same conclusion that Scott was the most likely to hit it.
And they all got their touch in the end, didn't they? Yeah. That's all they wanted.
Yeah, sharing the love. So we have a look at it. But runs it over the top, then rolls there. Just a little slow the roll, I reckon, to Scott. And he'll take this corner. Away by Vigilante. Good purchase from the Batman. Here's Kurtz. Ooh, got his wires crossed there and just volley it straight into the path of the Riverside player, but can't make anything come of it. So with 23 to play here, we're halfway through the second half. They've pulled one back, have the Roos. The Warriors still very much in the ascendancy here at Warrior Park.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see if either side making a couple more substitutions soon. Riverside certainly put in a mountain of running in this game, particularly that first half hour, and now in the second as well. Reece Kinslow might be an option just for a bit more tenacity and chasing down up front. And it's surely got to be a pretty tiring exercise there for Spanos and company up top. There's the throw in taken down the line. Monticchio drifting inside and lays it out to Prince, whose shot was hit the back of the net. Unfortunately, it's the training goal on halfway. Throw-in taken quickly. Mearns with an intelligent flick. O'Neill read it well. Davis. Humphrey wants to turn away and does exceptionally well. Montecio, there's a good run here from Soupy Campbell, and that's the direction he goes to. Vandermeer coming across and using his body well. Soupy Campbell, I think Kurtz has conceded a corner there. That is good hard running there from the former City player. He's won his side a corner, and you can imagine the tall timber will be striding forward here.
Montecio going up there to join them. Looks like, yeah, pretty much all hands on deck. Just Vigilante and Gilmore staying back. And Koso, the lone figure for the Warriors, as they put all their bodies back in the box to defend this one, as it's powerfully struck in. A rising header from Jack Ryan. Up to meet that one pretty nicely. Olner nods it back down, and it's played in again, and it's a chance, and it's a good save from McDonald. It was Montecio with the snapshot, and kept at bay there by McDonald. And Riverside had to pull that one. It would have got very interesting, Paul.
Certainly would have. He got good power on the shot with very little run-up. Did Montecio, but nice. McDonald really doing a little bit there for the cameras in terms of his save, but had to be aware at his near post. That's a good ball sprayed out towards Vandermeer. Sliding to make the pass. It's turned over to Vigilante. I think he's fouled Cook there in the end, and he has. Desperately puts his hand up and says, I didn't actually foul him, because he is on a light yellow card. And we will see substitution being made. It is Spanos coming off. A bit too eager.
You've called it. It's Kinslow.
I'm an expert.
Yeah,
I'm an absolute Riverside expert.
So they bring on the hard-working striker. And look, he'll keep them honest. No, you are. He throws himself about the pitch. He got a tremendous work rate, Reece Kinslow. Defenders sweat his presence. Long ball, Jack Ryan once again the tag, and he gets a good piece of that one, but again, it's collected by Hill. And Olner might have just done something to his hand there, maybe dislocated a finger or something.
Wouldn't want it to be further up the arm body. You wouldn't want Olner doing an Olner. It was Montecio gets the ball. Down the line in the Kinslow direction. Gilmore coming up to press against Kurtz. The chef Ryan Cook puts his teammate under a bit of pressure, but Darwin relieves it. Mearns. Out to Scott. What about switching out that side? That's an intelligent ball for Stevens. Well, Darwin, I think O'Neill meant to control that, but he's clearly got a shout from his goalkeeper there. He'll wax it into the night sky. Vandermeer wanting to go for a run. The centre back, he may have left his team a little open, but Humphrey didn't quite get that one under control. Campbell. Out to Stevens. Now it's Thompson. And Koso making a good darting run down the line, and that's the direction he goes. He gets his head up. There's no one in the 18-yard box, so he stops and waits. Falls to the top of the box. Mearns trying to shape some time to shoot and manages to wrap his left boot around it, but well blocked by the Olympic defence. Thompson. Out to Stevens. Scott directing traffic. Ryan's made a good run, and that's the direction he goes. And Olner has hit that one straight into touch.
He's done well to read that one, Ethan Olner. Seems to be reading a bit of paper there. I'm not sure if it's some pre-game tactics or something of random game scenarios, trailing by certain things, but interesting. Is nodded down by Ryan to Nkoso. Absolutely lasers it over the bar. Jeez, he got some power on the non-preferred there, Joffrey Nkoso. And we've seen this so many times, just onto Ryan's head. He brings others into the game, and Joffrey was always rising, but just had Hill nervous there for a moment, I would suspect.
It looked destined for the back of the net just by the shape of it. It was always rising, but you've seen them crash into the roof of the net, and that really would have been game over. Oh, non-preferred as well. As goal kick is taken. Campbell can't quite win it. Prince. The chef Ryan Cook battling away with Gilmore. He's probably going to win the physical battle there. There's good pressure on Cole McDonald, who's forced to kick it first time. Gilmore rising high, but only as far as Nkoso. Now Mearns. Ryan's in a good pocket of space on the far side, but doesn't quite get there. Now with Dawu. Good spot here for the postman. Wanted to lay it to Nkoso, but wasn't quite on the same wavelength. And they get another chance. Mearns keeps it in the centre of the park. It's shape to get some space and goes the raking diagonal ball. Ryan was unfortunately running in the other direction. It was a bit too ambitious for any fullback to get. And geez, that's a good throw from Hill. He's put in Soupy Campbell. Scott coming across with the slide challenge. Probably done well to hold him up there. Thompson shields it away. Scott, oh, lovely turn there from the Englishman and then lays the ball down the line. Nkoso is Olner for company. Ryan on the far side. It's Jack Ryan. No, he doesn't get enough power on it. Could have had the hat trick there, Ryan, and probably should have.
Yeah, good chance. Goes begging there for the Englishman. Gilmore beaten to that by Scott, who slid in. Just Hill. If the goalkeeping thing doesn't work out for him, which I'm pretty confident is going to work out for him, he might have a bit of a career as a fast bowler too, looking at his action. As we have a look at this Jack Ryan chance, just always under-hit that one. Not quite the purchase we saw in the first half, Howitzer unleashed. That one nestled in the back of the net. On this occasion, never going to trouble Hill, who will get us a restart for these final 15 minutes. 3-1, still the score in favour of the hosts. Looking good to advance to the final four. Here's Nick Mearns, a player growing in confidence as the season wears on. He sends this one to Thompson. Thompson for Nkoso, holding off Prince. He's the king, and the king of the handles is shut down on this occasion. Kurtz just stabbing at one, and he's overhit that. Harmlessly behind for a goal kick. Olympia won't mind too much as long as it stays up this end of the park.
No, they won't, and their fans doing their bit, not helping the ball back into play, making the goalkeeper run in behind the stand that's over near the wet area. Most of the Olympia faithful like to congregate as Hill launches that one to halfway. Dawu wins the header. Heavy touch there from Prince, so it'll be a Warriors throw as we have another substitution. Seems like it's going to be a Warriors change on this occasion. Coming off, and it looks like Nick Mearns slowly making his way. Well, it's actually Ryan Cook. My mistake. Mearns is still firmly positioned right in front of me. Good 76 minutes there for the chef. I'm going to take a stab. That's Bilal coming on.
Substitution for Lakoseljac is number 11, Ryan Cook. Coming off, being substituted by number 17, Luke Wilcox.
Well, it was Luke Wilcox, so it was...
Yep, no, he's 17 on the team sheet.
Coming on. There's Nkoso. Just looking to turn Prince here. The former Prince, the king of the handles. And he sends this one across to the fresh legs. Well done, Vigilante. Just cut that one out. Kinslow presenting up it. Just left it a little short though. Coughed it straight up to Jordan Scott. Kurtz to Thompson. Thompson for Jack Ryan has dropped deep fairly frequently throughout the game here. And sends this one back to Stevens. That's a good ball for Wadawu. They're flowing here, but broken up again by Prince, who leaps into Wadawu. Lunging challenge, an important one from Stevens, but the danger hasn't passed. Campbell trying to stay onside. He didn't. Kinslow went at it too. I think they both might have been off though.
Soupy Campbell was certainly off. I was unsure about Kinslow. And when you see Wilcock has moved to right back and Thompson's gone out to left wing. So in a day where I've rarely seen that substitution, in the two games I've watched, it's happened again. A reverse situation to what we had in the Women's Statewide Cup, but very versatile, these modern footballers.
That's what the coaches want. They can play multiple spots. Here's Wadawu. Just cushioning that one back down to Wilcock. Here's Mearns. Wadawu unable to gather that one in his stride. So waiting for him in the middle. Surprised Ryan is dropping so deep for someone on a hat-trick. I thought maybe the hunger might have got to him a little here, and might have just seen him just cheating a little. Just hanging off the last shoulder of the last man kind of operation.
Playing a good team game is Jack Ryan, probably trying to stay in the coach's good books.
Yeah, probably worth a bit more than a third. He's had a good game today, the Englishman.
Yeah, probably. He was pretty good in that first game against South Hobart in the first round of the NPL. And other than that, this has probably been the best game I've seen him play so far in his time here in Tasmania. And there's a throw in, I'm assuming, has gone in play at all. I think Van der May will get another go, which is still one of our pet hates up here in the Slice of Cheese commentary box, where you fail to be able to throw the ball in the field of play and then get another go.
Yeah, that's the rule I'd change. Petty, I know, but that is the one rule I would change. If I could change one.
Rather than anything else.
Punish these people that can't throw the ball back into play. No second chances ball.
Oh, look, under 10's fair enough. If you're playing mini-roos, go for it. But at this level, if you can't throw the ball in, I'm sorry.
You shouldn't get a second.
No.
Anyway, Montequio, can he get a second goal for Riverside? He's absolutely launched this one the Prince direction, worked it back dangerously. Van der May was on hand to save the day, though. Vigilante nods it back down to the goal scorer, Davis. Goes looking for Kinslow. This one will fall to Thompson, who nods it into the path of big Jack Ryan. He's just going to hold off the attentions of Gilmore. Support came. That was a little clumsy from Ryan. Oh, play allowed to continue. Thought that was a certain foul on the Englishman. Vigilante clears the danger.
Yeah, I completely thought that was about to be given, but it was not as we get into the last 10 minutes. Warriors playing out this game nicely. Outside of that goal, no real chances for Riverside in this game. And Jordan Scott is doing what he does best and just directing traffic in that centre of the park. He finds Wilcock. Looks down the line to the postman. Don't think he's kept that one in. And the referee agrees. Riverside, it's all or nothing here for them at this stage. Turning is Davis, trying to get down the line. Wilcock knocks it out for a throw. Prince coming forward to take. Side to Humphrey. Davis is surrounded by white shirts. He'll do well to win a throw in here, but doesn't. Ryan looks up and does manage to find Nkoso. Olner, as he loves to do, sliding in to clear that one and gets a chest in the way. Still going is Olner. Call out from Davis. The centre back still going, but he's opposing number 4 intercepts. Scott Ryan trying to stay onside. He was actually onside there, and Jordan Scott pounds the ground in frustration. I'm assuming that's at his teammate not making the run.
Yeah, quite possibly, as this one will spill out of play. Still 3-1 the score here. Getting late in proceedings now. 82 minutes have ticked by. The Warriors have got 1 foot into the semi-finals. Can they finish the job here? Nick Mearns to Nkoso. He's isolated up against Olner. Some support comes now from Prince, and then tracking back to John O'Neill. Hill goes long for Kinslow. Hard-working striker. Davis over the top as Campbell timed his run. He has. It won't quite sit for him. Eventually brings it under his spell. He turns back onto the right here, Campbell. Stands it up to the top of the box, and there was Jordan Scott, the Englishman, arriving. A big opportunity goes begging there for Riverside. The ball just would not sit for Campbell as he threatened to tear him behind. Olympia able to see the danger away. Mearns will put it out of place. That'll be a Riverside throw-in.
Good chance there. Was looming for Riverside, as you mentioned. Giuseppe Campbell could not sit for him, and now rolling the defender is Riverside with Dawa, who gets a toe in. Mearns looks up, spots Jack Ryan in a good pocket of space. He's one-on-one, takes it first time. Parried save there from Hill. Comes out to get the rebound. Jack Ryan pretty much at every opportunity he's looked to hit it first time. And another half chance for the Warriors. Riverside trying to get a second. Vigilante to Gilmore. Gilmore whacks it for Campbell to chase, but it's going to roll comfortably into the 18-yard box, and McDonald doesn't have any trouble claiming that one. He'll now use all of his 7 seconds. Waktai and Ryan flicks that on, but under no real pressure at all. Just goes to Hill. He's got time to actually size up a good option here. Does the keeper. Likes to go the driving kick. And to be fair, no one really challenged for that one. McDonald with all the time in the world. As the Warriors are playing the rest of this game out on their own terms here. For the moment, Kurtz goes to Vandermeer. Scott looks up, wanted to pass it to Ryan first time, but it'll go to Wilcock. With Dawu to Mearns. Now the postman to Mearns. Wants to play the 1-2 with Ryan. He gets the return ball. Mearns using his body well. Coming in there from centre back was O'Neill. Another substitution being made. Looks like Montequio is coming off. And coming on,
William Cowart.
You got there quicker than me.
And number 3, striding on. So, Riverside have got 5 minutes to find 2 goals. Can William Cowart be the man? I think got their first ever NPL Tasmania goal. So the linesman just getting back in position. Now we can go with Olympia trying to land the knockout blow. Warren Woodawu won't get in behind a Prince here. O'Neill steers it away. Kurtz up against Campbell. Campbell just trying to shield him from it, but Kurtz kept his eye on the ball, did nicely, and then takes it in stride. Support either side of him, although not a lot of movement, so just leaves it for Mearns, and Mearns strikes it through for Nkoso. He's got Ryan in the middle, couldn't find him. John O'Neill had the positioning absolutely spot on there. Davis up to Kinslow. Tried to take a touch past Stevens, but just took him out of play in the end. We've got 4 minutes left in regulation here. The Warriors be content just to try and keep a hold of the ball, I should think. McDonald looks up and slices one out that'll make his teammate work for that one. And the Riverside throw in the end. Wilcock unable to get to it. And Riverside need to strike pretty soon here. Scott's pass picked off by Davis. Scott with a foot in, so too Davis chipping it over the top, and nothing doing there. McDonald, he's going to eat up his full allocation too.
He's got the confidence to do that, does McDonald. Trusts his footwork in those situations. As he likes that one down the line. It's a lovely spray ball to Ryan, who's set in Thompson, and look at the pace. William Cowart caught up on young Jake Thompson there, who's not the slowest player.
You can see why they've thrown him on late. He's got some wheels.
He'll take the throw in. Thought about stealing 10 yards. Runs back. What if he'll do the long run up and steal them back again?
Almost certainly.
It's a bit too serious there from the substitute as Ryan gets in front of that one. Lays it back to Kurtz. Mearns is in a good pocket of space, but Kurtz tried the ambitious one, and Riverside really have to get all their players forward. That's a risky throw from Hill. Mearns striding across. When you've got time to lump it forward to your energetic strikers, it's normally a better decision.
Didn't mind that from Mearns though, still hustling so hard, and it just holds them up, stops them getting it forward. Time of the essence, and Mearns just able to eat up more seconds with just a good piece of hard running in midfield. Despite the fact it's late in the game, he's not let up. That will please his coach, no doubt, as Ryan lays it to Kurtz. Back to Ryan. Olympia stroking it round, although Ryan went the direct route, cut out by Prince. Stevens. Kurtz. His pointed as if he was going to back pass, then turned and went the other way, having sold his opposing player.
Don't mind that at all.
Very, very wily stuff from Kurtz, whose last 2 games have been 2 of his better ones for the Warriors. He's starting to loom as a real key player for them. This one's chipped up over the top for Campbell wide. He's got a couple in the box to pick out. One of them is Reece Kinslow attacking the ball. It falls and it's volleyed and it's well wide of the mark in the end. A good chance for Humphrey, but on the volley, well wide.
Yeah, he seemed pretty disgusted with himself with that shot, Humphrey. He did well to keep it low. It's always the hardest thing to do in those situations. Fortunately, he didn't quite have the direction. As we see the 3rd and final substitution for Riverside. Didn't quite see who that was coming off. They were doing it that quickly. Number 16 it is who's come on, Riley Wakeford. Going to left back as Olner clears that one and fired into Lakoseljac. Vigilante still buzzing around the defensive area. Coert with pace to burn down this right-hand side. He'll size up Vandermeer. The positioning of the experienced centre-back wins out in that situation. Warriors just triangle passing their way out of defence in the far corner. O'Neill to Humphrey, lays it to Gilmore. He'll try and turn away from Scott. Scott wins the ball. All the time in the world to hit that pass as Wakeford comes up to press. Now Mearns. Ryan in a good pocket of space here, and Koso's free on the far side. That was a tad under hit, but a good result in the end being a corner. They can chew up precious seconds here, the Warriors. And you think it'll be one of the last actions of this game. We probably have 3 minutes of added time, given we've had all substitutions pretty much. As Ryan is doing the slowest retrieval from the Warrior Park entrance you'll see.
Yeah, he's just moseying on down to the corner flag here. Probably take it short between he and Scott and just try and keep it down in the corner perhaps.
Some of the Warriors faithful still wearing shorts in this weather.
That's very brave. Francis, of course. Never seen him not in those shorts, to be honest. That's less brave. Here's Scott. Just cleverly rolls it into Mearns, who then showed far too much of it to Prince, allowing him to clear. The substitute getting onto this one. Volleyed it up over the top. Vandermeer should be able to nod back to his keeper pretty comfortably, and he'll do just that. Although McDonald, he loves his time wasting, this boy. Just as long as possible before he can kick it up, and the timer starts on the need to get rid of it.
Right. Look, I guess that's the difference between the level these guys play at and the level I've played at. Is I would be absolutely imploring my goalkeeper not to do that. I'd be way too nervous. There'd be potential stuff up there. But McDonald, he's really good with his feet, this keeper. He's had a couple of lapses this season in terms of saves, which across the course of a season most keepers do have. But his footwork has been an impressive part of his game. As Vandermeer doesn't see any options, so he does go back to his keeper. Under pressure there from Soupy Campbell. And that'll be out of play. Riverside, one last chance to get a consolation goal. Gilmore, harassed by Scott. Back to O'Neill, who will go the up and under. Won't clear Vandermeer. Gilmore, not quite sure where the youngster was trying to head that one. And Scott will play in Koso. Can there be a fourth for the Warriors? In Koso, lovely one to Mearns. He's in the 18-yard box with time to bench. Jordan Scott with the shot, but right down the middle. Hill did not have to move a muscle there. There's the long throw in. Goes to Kinslow, and again, another ball that's nearly ended up with us here, as that is full time in this Lakoseljac Cup quarter-final. And the Warriors run out a fairly comfortable 3-1 winners over Riverside Olympic. All their goals in the first half. It did really dent the confidence of Riverside, who played a good first half hour. But then the Warriors started to show their strength, and after a pretty steady second half, managed to grind this one out.
Yeah, professionally done in the end from Olympia. I think they wanted to just kill the game off in the second half. They had it well within their keeping after building that lead in those final 15 minutes of the first half, and they did it pretty comfortably with a 3-0 lead. They pulled one back Riverside through Davis, but they never really looked like they were going to come all the way back in this one, and Olympia progress through to the final 4. They'll join South Hobart and University in the semi-finals. One more semi-final spot up for grabs. That'll be determined tomorrow, 2 p.m. at KG5. It's Hobart Zebras and Devonport. So one big contender will fall. One will move on to the final 4. It's going to be a massive game. Do join us for that one tomorrow. But from us here at Warrior Park this evening, the Olympia Warriors too strong. It was a brave performance at times from Riverside. They showed good fight. They showed some improvement from the last time they were down here. But at the end of the day, Olympia were far too strong, and they move on through to the final 4 of the 2019 Lakoseljac Cup.